Journey Through Parenthood with Martina Bills.
Brought to you by Southern Ohio Medical Center. Very good things are happening here.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Martina Bills. Thanks for joining us here on the WSAZ Now Desk. We are talking this morning on Journey Through Parenthood about extreme picky eating, when it can go a little too far and becomes an actual health issue for children. We're talking to Dr. Misty Stroh, a pediatrician at Valley Health, about avoidant restrictive food intake disorder.
I would consider it an extreme form of picky eating. So it takes it to another level. So these kids may not have interest in food, or they may become so selective that they eliminate a lot of different food groups from their diet. So these kids might just eat noodles, or they might want to just eat dairy, or they may limit their foods to just what are considered safe foods to them. So they may have 10 or less foods that they eat, and they won't eat outside of those preferred foods.
So I guess the signs of this would be like sticking to specific categories of food and not really branching out.
Yes, or they may just limit, like they may eat just a couple of fruits and maybe not eat vegetables. Like a lot of their decisions may be based on like the texture of the food or how it tastes in their mouth. It's more than just being picky about, how it's cooked or what, things like that. Like it's not going to be just picky eaters. And then we see a lot of picky eaters, but this is like an extreme level of pickiness, and those kids tend to be pretty rigid about those choices and very limiting in the nutrient base that they choose from for their diet.
So how does this become an issue? I know, like you just mentioned, everyone hears about picky eaters. I'm sure every child goes through a picky phase at some point, depending on their age. But when does it actually become a problem that a parent really needs to seek help?
Well, I would say if you notice that your child is severely limiting their nutritional choices every day, and you notice that that has become a pattern, well, they will not eat anything other than, like, let's say, I have parents that have come in and they'll say, my kid will only eat chicken nuggets and French fries, and they won't eat that. They won't eat breakfast meals. They won't eat anything different for lunch. They only ask for that for dinner. And then maybe other symptoms that you may not realize that it's extreme picky, but you may have physical symptoms. So the kid may not be gaining weight. They may have weight loss. They might be dizzy. They might be avoiding eating food. They may be picky about how the food is on their plate or how it tastes. They might spit food out. Like there's lots of different hints that may give you insight to whether or not your child's picky eating is extreme picky eating.
And would you consider this on the realm with the same concept of disordered eating? Where does it kind of play a role in that?
Yes. Definitely, I think this is a type of eating disorder, and in order to get diagnosed, I feel like you really need to seek help from your primary care provider, because we can refer you we can take a good history and, do a nutritional evaluation, check weight, height, make sure labs aren't needed to make sure there's not another underlying diagnosis. But we also can refer you to child psychology to get a further workup to see what type of eating disorder this might be.
And talk about, from the nutritional standpoint, when we're talking about disordered eating, it really being selective can play a role in, obviously, the nutrients that a child is getting in their body for anyone, when they're being selective of what they're eating. Talk about how that can really affect a child, especially during school, learning, physical capabilities of, stamina.
Well, definitely, if they're not getting the micronutrients that they need and all the vitamins and minerals, that can affect their learning abilities in school. That can affect their attention, their energy. It can make them just feel poorly in general. It might make them have extreme fatigue, and we see complications from nutritional deficiencies with ARFID. And I've seen kids that won't eat anything with vitamin C, and so maybe they would end up, I haven't seen this one particularly in my office, but I know of some children from Cincinnati Children's Hospital that have had scurvy from extreme ARFID. We have had vitamin D deficiencies and rickets from extreme, ARFID. So it can lead to difficulties with those things. And if you don't get the vitamins you need, you're not going to grow and be healthy. Your nervous system might not work appropriately. So it can affect every organ system. They really need all the nutrients to grow and thrive the way that they were intended.
And what ages are you seeing this? Is it kind of a wide variety of ages, like a broad spectrum? Because I know, like when we've talked about eating disorders in the past, it's, the preteen or the teenage years, maturing, body's changing and changing like that. But what about this one when it comes to ages?
This we really see anywhere from toddler on through teenage years. I mostly feel like the majority of the kids that we see that have this are probably like later toddler into the early developmental years in the grade school years. So if I were to, guess certain ages, I would say anywhere from, 3 to 12. We usually catch them, because kids are coming in for their well child visits, which are so important. I really encourage every parent that's listening, take your kid to the well child. That's where we pick up on some of these, developmental problems or eating disorders. We check the growth and development, super important for children. And so I would say, we probably see any age for this, but probably more like toddler, later toddler on, because some toddlers go through picky seasons, but this would be like an older toddler entering school into the early teen years.
Okay, so we are talking about ARFID today. It's avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, and it falls in line with eating disorders, disordered eating, and it's really pretty much when it's an extreme case of picky eating, and something that I know a lot of children of all ages go through picky eating phases. Sometimes kids like certain foods. Sometimes they don't like the foods that they just ate last week. You go to the grocery store and buy bananas, and then this week, oh, I don't like bananas. But this is the extreme that they only focus on eating for maybe texture reasons or different reasons, certain foods, and they're not getting the amount of nutrients, those micronutrients that are so important for their bodies to grow and continue to be able to learn as well. So Dr. Misty Stroh, the pediatrician we talked about, is saying that the treatment options, this is something you should be talking to your pediatrician about, and then they can refer you to the psychology aspect of it. And there also is food therapy, feeding therapy specialists that can help your child get past this, but it really can affect a child, and they want you to be aware of it, because if you think, oh, my child's a picky eater, it might be something more serious. So here on Journey Through Parenthood, you can always find us on WSAZ.com. You can click on that Journey Through Parenthood tab and then scroll down there and then click the Journey Through Parenthood tab, and you can find all of our stories that we've posted here on Journey Through Parenthood from a bunch of different topics throughout the years. We're here every Monday and Wednesday on the WSAZ Now Desk. If you want to reach out to me for a subject you want to see here on Journey Through Parenthood, you can find me on social media or give me a call here in the newsroom. We're here every Monday and Wednesday at 10 a.m. We hope you enjoy the great day.